There's a lot of debate about what a smart building is these days, and a lot of, I'll call it snake oil out there.
Databases are dead. Enter the blockchain.
Building is a building that tells you what it's doing.
We even connected weather sensors now. Weather sensors.
Very much about connectivity.
This is about making your work more like your life.
You know, we're behind closed doors. We're a bit of a black art.
A smart building is a building that comes to life.
Hello and welcome to our grand finale. Yes, we finally got there, and with over 6 hours of insights from experts from around the world, what a journey we've been on. We've had some highs.
I'm interested in smart, healthy buildings simply because I think they've got a fantastic opportunity to make us happy.
And some lows.
Mobile software, I fluffed it, sorry.
You were going so nicely too.
Proper BBC, this.
We've had some surprises.
I've worked in many buildings, as I'm sure all our listeners have.
And some predictions.
I don't like to predict.
You need the data. You're listening to Smart Thinking, a podcast by WSP. I'm Matthew Marson, taking you on a journey into smart buildings. In this episode, we're going to condense our journey into a series of pit stops, taking you through what we believe is our story of smart buildings. So, let's begin. Have you ever thought about what a smart building is? What it can do for the people that are in that building? How could it be transformative for your business? Definitions are wide-ranging, and it means so many different things to different people.
Smart and intelligent buildings are enhancing and supporting the demand of users in these spaces.
It's something that's actually sort of, I suppose, been engineered and thought about in a way to begin with that reduces the vulnerability of security incidents or potential security incidents occurring.
Well, a smart building is a building that can respond to a wider context and a city's infrastructure.
How could it be transformative to your client's business? Tom Smith meets many clients in every region in which we work, and again it keeps coming up as one of the client's top concerns.
This reminds me of sustainability. Probably 20 years ago, sustainability was a new concept, and it took quite a while for clients to be able to grasp that and understand the value that sustainability can bring to their buildings and how it can improve the performance of buildings.
We've helped clients strategy.
We wanted to make sure that they understand in the end this is their strategy, and they would have to make changes on their business and operational model to really implement the strategy. So it isn't just a report.
We've looked at smart in terms of the workplace.
Going into meeting rooms, the tech that people use in a meeting space. We recently measured this for a particular client who, on average, spent 15 minutes getting the IT and the AV working in each meeting room before a meeting. When they have over 900 meetings a month, that's a pretty big drain on their productivity.
As a smart healthcare facility,
improving the patient outcomes, which I suppose is part of the experience. If you can track things, if you can measure things, and you have the data, you can then learn from your mistakes and make the next experience or the next treatment for a patient be that much better.
And as a smart stadium.
Why go to the game, right? The TV coverage is great. And so as we're designing stadiums, what we're trying to find out is how can we design them differently to make people go to games?
And we looked at how the property developers' business models could be revolutionized by smart.
What is the revenue model and what are you actually selling, right? So a building generates data, and how can a developer create a revenue stream out of the data that they're generating?
One thing's for sure, everyone's agreed that a smart building starts with people, and as designers, we need to focus on a human-centered design approach.
The building itself is playing a living, breathing role in bringing together people who are able to share ideas more quickly, feel that their needs are being met, and are having fun. That, to me, was success. The fact that we could attract talent who otherwise would have picked other companies had it not been for that building, that, to me, was fantastic.
That's Miguel Sosa. Another key takeaway on digital service design is from Tom Hollis, our guest in episode 6.
And what I think underpins particularly our interest in design at the moment is really the dogged absolute true north of the user. Everything is built around what the user wants, how the user wants to do it, to what intent or what ambition the user is trying to get to, and how we can help them achieve that.
But what does digital actually mean for our designers? How can we be at the forefront of technology and the changing landscape of engineering? Nick Offer explains.
I think there's an awful lot about to change, and I think we've already started. The first thing we're beginning to do is understand that there is change around us, that buildings are going to be automated, that buildings are going to need to be run and designed differently. And we're also beginning to see that we need to design them differently ourselves. We're beginning to automate our process.
We discovered how smart can measure and enhance productivity, provide extremely valuable location services, and create communities within the building. But to do this, we need to get down to the techie bit. AI specialist Chum Chat-Koo and Henria Kraglick explore AI and applification.
Well, as celebrated AI scientist Andrew Ng observed, AI is the new electricity. AI will become increasingly foundational, transformative, and pervasive.
It's also very expensive kitting out a building to be smart so that you can interact with it. So you want to be very sure about why you're doing this and what you're trying to achieve, and not getting too caught up in the hype and the possibilities.
Just when you thought it was safe to create a smart building, two overarching concerns surfaced: security and ethics. Here's Matthew Biddle from WSP.
Yes, it disrupts things because it gives us other sort of threat vectors where people can attack. But actually, that's the same as anything. We're just creating the mitigations and the management sequences that go with that to go alongside the technology.
And Connor Clark brings us back down to humanity.
What a smart building is fundamentally is a building that can make decisions, that can make choices about the environment. And those choices might have ethical dimensions to them.
Everyone's top tips aligned with the concept of outcomes first. Tech should never be used just for tech's sake.
First of all, to just step back and ask a bigger question.
What do they want the building to do? If it is a quote-unquote smart tool, what are the goals you're actually trying to achieve?
I would engage your user base and the people that are going to be served and benefit from that.
So really getting down into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day problems that the frontline staff are tackling.
For us, the formula is simple. We call it Smart Simplified. Integrated technology, purposeful design, and actionable data equals optimal managed performance and happier, healthier users. And finally, something that stood out for me is what smart means for architects. Here's Deba Salam from Studio DS.
When you look at how the smartphone has created a really interesting user experience, it's given us more power to our own experience now. And there's no reason why that experience should not be extended to how we experience spaces.
This has been a production by the Global Property and Buildings Marketing team. In particular, a big thanks to our producer Nicola Evans, Digital Marketing Executive Caroline Boulay, Assistant Editor Leanne McCarthy, Feel Good Creative for our graphics, and Executive Sponsor Julie Guppy. Also, a big thanks to our sound engineers Casual Films, and to all of our interviewees, and of course to you, our listeners. If something in this episode has piqued your interest, then have a chat with us. Email smart@wsp.com. You've been listening to Smart Thinking. I'm your host, Matthew Marston, turning off the mic for the last in this series. Thanks for listening.